3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Shane Schoeller. I serve as Greene County Clerk.
That's fantastic. And you are an elected official.
Yes.
Please share with us why you believe it's important, it's good to vote.
Well, as I always like to tell folks, especially those who are new to voting or thinking about becoming registered to vote, is every election is a conversation. And so if you've ever been part of a group where you left out of the conversation, it's not a good feeling. And I believe every election, whether it's local, whether it's state or federal, like we're getting ready to vote on here in November, you want to be part of that conversation, because potentially there are going to be people that are elected, issues that are decided, that you were left out of the conversation if you don't go cast that vote. And it's much better to be part of that conversation, let your voice be heard, than later on have regret that you weren't there.
The vast majority of our students are teens, people in their early 20s, first presidential election they can vote in. How do they find out where to vote?
So, well, they can go to the Greene County Clerk's website. We have a little click down tab underneath elections that says where's my polling place, and they can literally put their address in there and it tells them exactly where to vote. Secretary of State, they also have a page there where you can figure out where to vote to for the state of Missouri.
That's fantastic. If you're voting in person, as you can understand, a lot of people are a little nervous about that. Walk us through the process if I'm somebody who wants to do a mail-in ballot.
Absolutely. Well, for the year 2020 only, the legislature earlier this year did make some changes. We've had absentee voting for a number of years, and in the past there were 6 reasons that you qualify to vote absentee. Normally that's you're going to be out of town, or for example, the second one was health related, and that is that you have a sickness and you're confined or a disability that does not allow you to go to your polling location. That one was a non-notarized reason. All the other reasons were notary reasons. This year in 2020, because of COVID-19, legislature passed a provision for this year that allows a voter, if they're at increased risk of severe illness per CDC guidelines, they can check number 7, and that allows them to be able to cast that ballot without having to get that outer envelope notarized, just like number 2, which was health related too. Well, let's say, hey, I looked at the reasons, none of the reasons really fit for me, that I can vote absentee. You have the option to request a no excuse mail-in ballot. You have to either send us that in writing by mail, or you can come to the office and make that request, and then that ballot is mailed to you. It does have to be notarized, the outer envelope you put the ballot into, and then you mail that back to us.
Is there a place you would recommend a voter who does not know his resources where he or she might notarize anything?
A lot of times you can go to a local bank. They will have notary services there. The library oftentimes is offering that service, and you can go to the Missouri Secretary of State's website. They actually have a list of notaries for every county where you can find a notary at in the county in which you're in. So that's a great service the SOS is providing for the state. And so that's just in terms of the notary. The other thing is, if you're voting absentee, you can do it in person. We're open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you think I'm going to have a hard time finding a notary, you qualify for one of the 7 reasons. Come cast it in person at 1126 North Boonville. And you can do that Monday through Friday.
Now, we are airing this October 14th.
Yes.
How much longer do I have to we can't register to vote anymore, anybody who's listening.
That's right, as of yesterday.
Can we request mail-in ballots still?
You will have 1 week from the 14th to be able to request a ballot be mailed to you. Now, you can still vote absentee all the way through November 2nd at 5 p.m. But if you need it mailed, and we're encouraging people, we're going to be having a campaign that starts the 14th, 1 week before, saying make that request now if you want your ballot mailed to you.
And if I want to mail in my ballot, it's got to get to you by the 3rd, by November 3rd.
By 7 p.m. Unless you're military overseas, then you have till Friday at noon.
So does your job entail ensuring election integrity? And if so, how do you do that?
Well, fortunately, we have statutes in our state that require, for example, bipartisan teams, not just on election day, but even as we prepare 5 days before the election with this new, really increased volume of absentee and mail-in ballots that have come back. There's a bipartisan team that literally everything is done together. It's transparent, it's open, and so even on election day, the parties can place challengers and watchers at the polling locations so they can ensure everything's being done correctly. There's in my opinion, in our state, we have a great amount of opportunity for the voter to be engaged, for the process to be done well, because everything is done by bipartisan teams. And even when we're testing the equipment, we pre-test our election equipment, we post-test the election equipment. There are a number of measures in there, and it's all open to the public to make sure that the ballot count will be correct through the electronic tabulation equipment, and that as you're being checked in by that election judge, you have, one Republican, one Democrat on most cases. Now, other parties can serve, but that's the norm in terms of who does serve for us as Republican Democrats. They're always balanced in terms of the party.
How concerned should I be about election integrity?
So, well, it should always be concerned. The great thing that our founding fathers gave us is that it's we the people. You have an opportunity to be a part of it. And sometimes election integrity comes down to a mistake. It wasn't dishonesty, but you can, hey, wait a minute, something went wrong, and you have an opportunity to be able to correct that. So even this year, as you're hearing concerns about, potential, hey, there's issues with mail-in ballots, there's oftentimes it's just going to be human error, but that's what accountability helps, is it even catches the human error and not just the guy who's out there trying to, defraud the vote count. So you have to make sure and discern between the difference.
2020 is a weird year for a lot of reasons, and one of the reasons is because you are dealing with more mail-in ballots, I'm just going to assume, that you've ever dealt with before.
Yes.
So last but not least, how long do you estimate before you know Greene County's ballots? How long before they'll be counted?
That's right. If everything goes well, we should be able to report results, especially from each precinct, the night of the election, because most of our voters in Greene County are going to come vote on the day of the election. Those that have chosen to mail it in 5 days before the election, again, bipartisan teams, they'll be opening up the envelope, separating out the ballot, and then on election morning, we can begin to tabulate those results, again, with bipartisan teams, that hopefully we have everything done by 7 o'clock that night. So that's one of the first results that we will post, is the absentee ballots.
Thank you so much for participating, and
Yeah.
good luck on election day, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.